Chapter 10, The Miracle Mutt, Albuquerque, New Mexico, May 6th, 2025. The salvage yard smelled of oil and char, the kind of place where wreckage went to be forgotten. Joe signed his name in the logbook with a heavy hand. The man at the desk pointed him toward the black SUV. It sat at the far end of the lot, half buried among twisted fenders and bent hoods. The vehicle was nothing more than a husk, paint scorched, windows gone, the roof bowed in. Joe stood for a long time before stepping closer. His throat ached. Inside, the seats were melted to their frames. Ash coated the floorboards like gray snow. Joe crouched, pushing debris aside with a gloved hand, searching for any trace. A collar, a bit of bone, something that would tell him what had become of Peanut and Lucas. Nothing. Only ash. Only ruin. He leaned against the door frame, breath shuddering. Maybe it was better this way, he thought. Better to believe they'd perished quickly, not to imagine other horrors. But the emptiness of the car mocked him. No evidence, no closure. Just a void where their little bodies should have been. A voice startled him. "You looking for something?" It was a man in coveralls, wiping his hands with a rag. Joe explained in clipped words. The man nodded slowly. "They can probably help you in the office. Everyone has to leave a copy of their driver's license." The rental clerk tapped the keys of her computer. "Yeah, that was horrible. Donald Bowman," she said at last. "506 Central, apartment B102. Those apartments on the corner of Central and San Mateo." Joe drove across town and found the low stucco buildings, paint sun-bleached and peeling. An elderly woman sat on the porch of apartment B106, shelling beans into a bowl. She shook her head when Joe asked about the couple who'd lived at B102. "Awful," she said. "Just awful." "What about the dogs?" Joe asked. His throat tightened. "Did they leave with 3 dogs?" "Yeah, I saw 'em loading up before they left. 2 suitcases and 3 little dogs. Put 'em all in the back before they drove off." Joe's knees weakened. "3?" "Uh-huh. A Yorkie and 2 others. I figured they all died in the crash, but I saw on the news that the Yorkie survived somehow. Must have been thrown clear before the fire. They call him Miracle Mutt. One of the firemen adopted him, named him Miracle." Joe forced a stiff nod. "Thank you," he managed. His voice felt like gravel in his throat. He turned and crossed the lot to his truck on legs that felt like wood. 3 dogs loaded into the SUV as it left the apartments. His worst fear. He gripped the steering wheel and fought back tears. Peanut and Lucas. Were they really gone, reduced to ash inside that twisted shell of a car? Or had they, like Rocket, somehow survived, roaming the countryside? Perhaps scooped up by some stranger? Or, his chest clenched, taken by a coyote? He shook the thought away, teeth grinding. As he reached the north edge of Albuquerque, his eyes caught a sign on the frontage road. Pampered Pet Kennel. Cheerful lettering, cartoon paw prints. He barely glanced at it before the moment passed, but something about it clung in the back of his mind like a burr. The long road to Santa Fe shimmered with heat. His thoughts circled like vultures over the single word the neighbor had spoken. 3. By the time he reached the house, the name of the kennel was buried under grief. He opened the door. Pamela and Leah looked up at him with the same question they had asked 100 times with their eyes. Joe shook his head once. "They're gone," he whispered, and no one spoke again for the rest of the night. The 3 of them sank into silence, each lost in the same hollow ache. Pamela awakened at 1:53 a.m., an hour she had come to recognize as a summons, a call to action from somewhere beyond time and space. She rose quietly, opened her laptop, and typed a message to her newfound companion, Logan, not a flesh and blood friend, but the voice of artificial intelligence that reviewed, confirmed, or questioned her solutions for every enigma. "Hi there. Let's get back to work on our project. Gamaliel and Philo need to be able to rest in peace."